siren and ask to be read for passage.
All right, you've heard the motion for the reading of the resolution. Is there a second?
Second.
It's been motioned and seconded. All in favor signify by aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? First and only reading.
A resolution accepting the quotation of Federal Signal Corporation for an emergency warning siren and authorizing the city manager to execute the sales agreement.
All right, you've heard the reading of the resolution. Any further discussion? Hearing none, is there a motion for approval?
So moved.
And a second?
Second.
It's been motioned and seconded. All those in favor signify by aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Resolution passes. Moving on to number 7, a resolution.
Mr. Mayor, I have a resolution approving a mowing and hold harmless agreement between the City of Moberly, Missouri and Gary Seidel for mowing the City Lake property. Ask for it to be read for passage.
All right, there's a motion for the reading of the resolution. Is there a second?
Second.
It's been motioned and seconded. All those in favor signify by aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? First and only reading.
A resolution approving a mowing and hold harmless agreement between the city of Moberly, Missouri and Gary Seidel for mowing the city lake property.
All right, you've heard the reading of the resolution. Any further discussion? Is there a motion for approval?
So moved.
And a second?
Second.
It's been motioned and seconded. All those in favor signify by aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Resolution passes. Moving on to number 8, resolution.
Yes, Mr. Mayor, I have a resolution authorizing the city manager to execute agreements with Enterprise Fleet Management, Inc. for leasing and maintaining city vehicles. I ask that it be read once for consideration of passage.
All right, you've heard the motion for the reading of the resolution. Is there a second?
Second.
It's been motioned and seconded. All in favor signify by aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? First and only reading.
A resolution authorizing the city manager to execute agreements with Enterprise Fleet Management, Inc. for leasing and maintaining city vehicles.
All right, you've heard the reading of the resolution. Is there any further discussion?
Got a question,
Okay, Mr. Rubaker.
just for clarification on, I think we asked about this at a prior meeting as far as when they actually go to purchase or order a vehicle, they have to use a dealership, is my understanding. And can we use local dealerships?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, we've talked with them about that, and their policy is to always check with us to see who we want to use. When
Okay.
they bid it out, they're going to use the state contracts for the most part, and then
Right.
anybody else that we want to include.
But when they go through the state contract, do they still go through the local dealership or delivery?
I don't think so. No. Yeah.
One dealership that has a state contract for the different models.
Yeah.
Past has been in St. Louis someplace there the last several years. Fuse seems to get it pretty frequently.
Okay.
Yeah, so if Joe Mockins gets the state bid that year,
So
You
it's
pick
through
it
the
up
state
there.
bid,
Yeah.
overall state bid.
Mhm.
Okay, thank you.
But there's been quite a few times, if you remember, even recently, where one of our local dealers has either matched or beat the state bid, plus the city's got a 5% local preference
Right.
ordinance. So if they're within 5% of that state bid, our purchasing allows us to do
Okay.
that.
Well, I was just hopeful that, you know, we,
Yeah.
when we
done?
can, keep the business local, I
Yeah.
guess.
Mr. Davis, you're recognized.
I understand that we can opt out of this agreement at any time. And my question is how would we handle our current leases with the cars that we have? I assume we would probably just pay those leases off for the 4-year period and turn the cars in.
Yes, so if we would enter into this agreement for the however many cars we have on the list tonight,
Right.
and then we quit doing the program next year, we'd still have these group of cars that we'd have to finish out the 4 years with.
Okay.
And then they would roll over. And we either keep them or trade them in.
Well, if we become disenchanted with this and think it's a bad deal at some point, say in a year, 2 years down the road, and we opt out, is there going to be a big financial burden on us do you foresee that?
Well, most of the financial burden is on the front end. So I don't, it's hard to say what it would look like, but we don't think it would make us any worse off because we at least have, 13 new cars instead of 13, 15-year-old cars. So if we pull out at any given year, it's just going to be the difference between, are we still maintaining an old fleet or did we improve our fleet by a little bit? So if we get out in 2 years, half of our fleet would have been replaced in this program.
Well, I mean, I'm really good with this as long as, and the fact that we can opt out at any time if we become disenchanted gives me a
Yeah.
warm, fuzzy feeling. But
Yeah.
if we decide to do that, then all of a sudden we're hit with this huge cost of replacing the cars that we leased. That was my worry, so.
Yeah.
Okay.
There we go. If I could just offer a quick comment. We have Jenny McKenzie here with Enterprise, and I just clarified your question, but if we opt out, like say after 4 years, we have the option of either just, excuse me, either just paying those vehicles off, lump sum at that point, or we can extend our lease on out and do, another 3, 4 years, whatever we decide we need to do.
Okay. Yeah, again, Greg, I just don't want I don't want you to come back or our financial people to come back and say, well, we gotta come up at $200,000 or $300,000 to replace these cars or
Right.
something like that. Okay.
Is there a motion for approval?
So moved.
Oh, second.
Okay, we've got a motion and a second. All in favor signify by aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Resolution passes. Moving on to number 9, a resolution.
Mr. Mayor, a resolution authorizing the city manager of Moberly, Missouri to execute an agreement with Fusion Technologies LCC to provide information technology administrative services. Has to be read once for consideration.
All right, you've heard the motion for the reading of the resolution. Is there a second?
Second.
It's been motioned and seconded. All those in favor signify by aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? First and only reading.
A resolution authorizing the city manager of Moberly, Missouri to execute an agreement with Fusion Technologies LCC to provide information technology administrative services.
Okay, I think that was the reading of the resolution. Is there any further discussion? Hearing no further discussion, is there a motion to approve?
So moved.
And a second.
Second.
It's been motioned and seconded. All those in favor signify by aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Moving on to 10, a resolution appropriating money out of the city treasury.
Yes, Mr. Mayor, I have a resolution appropriating money out of the treasury of the city of Moberly, and ask to be read for consideration.
All right, there's a motion for the reading of the resolution. Is there a second?
Second.
It's been motioned and seconded. All those in favor signify by aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? First and only reading.
A resolution appropriating money out of the treasury of the city of Moberly, Missouri in the amount of $526,425.15.
I hereby certify that there is sufficient money standing to the credit of the city of Moberly, Missouri, unappropriated in the several funds covered by this resolution to meet the requirements of this resolution. Submitted Gregory L. Hodge, City Treasurer. Any further discussion? Is there a motion for approval?
So moved.
And a second.
Second.
It's been motioned and seconded. All in favor signify by aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Resolution is passed. Okay, that concludes the agenda for this evening. Is there anyone here or anything else to come in front of the council this evening? All right, hearing none, I would entertain a motion to adjourn to work session, closed, followed by a closed session. Is there a
So
motion to
moved.
that effect? It's been a motion and a second.
Second?
Motion and seconded. Roll call, please.
Jeffrey?
Yes.
Brubaker?
Yes.
Kimmons?
Yes.
Davis?
Yes.
Kaiser?
Yes.
Okay, motion carries. We are adjourned.
from the regular session of Moberly City Council, we will move on to the work session and take up that agenda. And the first item on the agenda of the work session is review of agreement with State of Missouri Fuel Card Program.
Yes, Mayor. Staff provided you with an email on the current situation at our city-maintained gas pumps at our Street Barn facility. With major repairs needed, we looked at different options for maybe providing fuel services for our city. And the Fleet One fuel card program through the state of Missouri's contract is something that we evaluated and think would work for our situation. We'd still need to close out our facility or reimagine what that facility might be used for. But for the most part, this would allow our city vehicles to get gas at our gas stations in town that are part of the Fleet One program. So just real quickly, I checked with Break Time and Casey's, and they're all in the program. So Tom's provided you with some additional information about some of the costs related to our current pumping system and some of the challenges. If you remember last year, we had quite a bit of water get into our gasoline, which caused some problems with vehicles. So we think this is probably the best move forward and reduces some of that upfront cost to redo our gas system.
All right, questions about this? Mr. Davis?
Brian, how would we handle do we pay tax on it currently when we bring it in for our tanks, or?
No. No.
If we buy it through Casey's or Break Time, are we gonna be taxed on that?
No, because the card knows that it's in the exempt program. So it exempts those when you purchase it.
So are we gonna be buying it at the same price that we would buy it if we were buying it for our tanks and pumping it ourselves?
No, that would be different. So it's more of a market-based approach rather than bulk buying. So we used to bulk buy.
Right.
And Tom can tell you a little bit about how that worked.
And when we bid that out, it did change, fluctuated as the market did, it'd be month to month, we'd get different prices, but there's a little bit of margin on there, but it's not huge. It's not a huge savings, but I mean, if we're looking at what we have to do to spend on our fuel pumps and maintain our equipment and the liability that we have out there, I think it's worth the difference in price, and that's what we kind of were evaluating, what we're gonna have to do to keep a system in-house.
Anyone else? Anyone opposed to moving that forward?
Nope.
Okay, that'll move forward to the next meeting, and we'll move on to number 2, a request from the YMCA to hold the annual 2021 Turkey Trot.
Yes, we received the request for November 25th for the Turkey Trot 5K. This is the usual route that it's been in the past. Public Safety and Parks, I think, have both reviewed this and are recommending it be moved forward.
Okay, questions about that? Anyone opposed to moving that forward? No. All right, so that will move forward to the next meeting. Number 3, receipt of bids for a supervisor vehicle for the Moberly Fire Department.
Yes, Mayor, we received these bids for the supervisor's vehicle for the Moberly Fire Department with the equipment. Moberly Motors came in at $38,655, and Joe Mockins at $36,848 with the pickup only.
All right, questions, anyone? Mr. Davis?
The way I was reading it, the 4,000 was added to the Moberly Motors, but it was not added to the Joe Mockins, is that right? Or
Correct. What she did, when we first initiated that, the top of the slide that was included in Moberly, and she didn't get the email in time, so basically she responded with an email just to add that price onto the pickup truck price, which would have brought it up to about
42,000, yeah. So the low bid is for, when you compare apples to apples, the low bid is Moberly Motors?
Anyone else? Anyone opposed to moving that forward? All right, hearing no opposition, we'll move that forward and move on to number 4, an application submitted by Redhead Properties Family Trust.
You got this, Tom?
Yeah. So this this is just a request for a zoning change from an R1 to R3. There's been several properties in that area. This is just down south a little bit from David Allen's development, up there between Allen and Austin. And so it blends well with the community. We've seen good examples of that, and that worked well. So P&Z was in favor of that, approved it for go forward.
Questions, anyone?
Yes, sir.
Mr. Davis?
I hate to be the only one asking questions, but
That's okay, we're used to it.
it's my understanding by her letter that she wants to build storage sheds there. Is that correct? Okay,
She's here. I'll let her talk.
Yeah.
sure.
Just a personal storage building
Just a,
for my material storage and about 40 old cars that I have that I need to stick inside.
okay.
so.
Well, I'm not opposed to that. That being said, but I just question why the R3 was the correct zoning for that, for a personal storage shed.
Because I can do, with R3, you can do personal storage as long as you don't have anything outside.
Is that correct, Tom?
Yes.
So that is the correct zoning?
Yes.
Yeah.
It's the best.
I'm not opposed to you building it. I just was wondering why we did that. Okay, thank you.
Anyone else? Thank
I
you.
just had a question. Is this looks like a block east of Morley Street?
That's right behind the old Piccadilly.
The Piccadilly?
Remember the old
Convenience
Piccadilly?
Oh, okay.
The old gas station there,
I'm older than you.
right,
Imperial.
yeah, and right across from Magic City Builders.
Yeah, I know where it's at. Okay, thank you.
Don't you have a small storage there already?
I have, on the other side, right behind it on the alley where I'm building that duplex, I have a little storage building there, but like I said, I want to put like a 60 by 80 shop in there.
Thank
Anyone
you.
else? Thank you. All right, there's no opposition. That will move forward to the next meeting. And we'll move on to number 6, review of lease agreement.
Yes, Mayor, we've done this lease in the past for Toys for Tots. It's their annual fundraiser, and they use our facility there at 218 West Reed to conduct some of their business. They've requested again that we would allow them to use that facility this year.
Questions, anyone? Had the number wrong, it's number 5. But is anyone opposed to moving that forward? All right, then that will move forward to the next meeting, and we will move to number 6.
Yes, Mayor, we've been in contact with Rosenbauer South Dakota LLC and Hyman, the sales company, and they're about a 12 to 14-month lead time to build the new engine that we're due for. So they have extended us the opportunity, if we do move forward with that new engine, which is in the next item down. Oh, wait, I'm sorry. Yeah, number 6, I'm sorry, is the $1,000 a month until our new one comes in. So after looking at our current stock and the maintenance issues that we've had with them, we could really use some help right now. One of our engines has been sitting waiting for repairs for quite some time, and it's really put us in a pinch. So we would like to lease a used one for $1,000 a month until our new one comes in 12 to 14 months.
All right, questions, anyone?
I had a question.
Mr. Brubaker?
When you say until our new one comes in, we haven't approved that yet, have we?
No, so we'd want to do these together.
Okay.
In fact, they wouldn't rent us a vehicle for $1,000 a month if we weren't buying a new one.
Right,
Yeah.
okay.
So they go together, these two. We could just order the new engine and not do the lease for $1,000 a month, but with this company providing us an engine that can be used while we're waiting for the new one, it'll give us another one to have in stock in case something breaks down and has to go to the shop and spend 3 or 4 weeks down there waiting on parts or whatever it is.
So what do we do with the existing one that would be surplus, I guess,
Well, we'll keep it until the new one comes in and then surplus.
and then sell it?
Mhm.
Or do you trade it in, or,
No, you sell them.
okay, like
I-
Purple Wave or
I've never
something?
seen trade-ins. They don't trade them in, do they? Yeah, usually you just sell it on the open market.
I was just curious if it had any value, and if so, how much?
You're getting out of line. We're still on 6, and that's number 7. So is anyone opposed to moving number 6 forward? Okay, then that'll move to the next one. We'll move on to 7, which is review of financing proposal for the Rosenbauer pumper.
Yeah, so this is the pumper that's in line to replace one of our engines. And the fire department formed a committee, it's probably been a year or two ago, to go through the specs that are needed for this next unit. It's right at $587,000. We did provide you that memo from the fire department committee that showed how they came up with that conclusion. So we'd want to move forward with this, knowing that it's not gonna hit till probably next year's budget, but we need to get the order placed now.
So can you give me a little information? Is this the same type of pumper that we have? Is it a different manufacturer? I guess if we have 2 of them that are the same, why would we buy another one of the same manufacturer? That would be my first question.
Can you
Chief,
get
you wanna
here?
come
Yeah.
on up?
Yeah. That was hit on a little bit in the memo, but Chief can help with some of that. It's not the same brand, though.
Trying to make it somewhat brief, but different manufacturer, same basic principle as a pumper. The issue we're running into is in our current stock that we have, we're having some major engine issues that trying to get repaired has been quite tedious.
Get closer.
Really?
Yeah.
I'm usually pretty loud, so, sorry. Okay. The problem we're running into is they can't find parts, or it's taking forever to get parts. I have one that hopefully will be back by the end of this week, but I have another one with basically the same issue, if not worse, sitting ready to trying to get in to get repaired also. So when it comes down to pumper to pumper, the main difference is the manufacturer. Some of the advantages of this manufacturer is that a lot of the manufactured parts on there, when it comes down to basic servicing things, can be bought more local, to where we're not relying on what we currently have is Pierce manufacturer. A lot of their stuff is proprietary, which means you pay more, for one, and then the fact that they're nationwide is they're one of the bigger manufacturers, so they've been hit harder on their parts, having to get them in. So that's the big issue when it comes right down to the trucks. When it comes down to what they can do, they're gonna be basically comparable. We're switching manufacturers because of some of the major issues we've had. Rosenbauer has a good name and a good basically history that we can go by, and so that's why we went with this one, plus the fact they did their good homework and came up with good sound reasonings on why they want it. And this one's gonna be basically built to meet more of what we really do on a day-to-day basis, which is should increase our productivity when it comes down and basically save time and effort on scene. So that will be helpful for the citizens also.
Okay. Now, questions, anyone?
Yes.
Mr. Davis?
Is this the 2015 truck, or is this a brand-new
No,
truck?
this is a brand-new truck.
Okay, I was thinking.
The only thing,
You had a,
the only thing
you
is,
had
it's the
something in there.
specs that they originally did, I believe it was for the 1920 fiscal year, I believe. And all we did was we had them update their specs to make sure everything that was on that one meets current specifications that nationwide, NFPA, all that kind of stuff, to where it's going to meet all standards that we asked for then.
Good. I was hoping we weren't gonna pay that kind of money for
No.
a 2015 truck. So,
No.
And what is the year model of our, the one that's broke down?
Two.
The current one that's
Which
down
one?
there right now
14.
is a 14. The one that's waiting to
The
go,
red and blue and
yeah. The one that's waiting to go down there is
7?
2015 7. No, the 2002 is actually we're running first out of Station 2 right now. And all three of them are Pierce, so.
So
When
we
you have
we
two-
no, go ahead, I'm sorry.
When you have two pieces of equipment like that and have that much trouble, does the manufacturer, or do you come up with some idea of things that cause it, or is just the way the equipment's made? Is it the function that we're doing something with it that is not really made to do that? Less trips and a lot more first responder trip? I mean, do you look at those issues as to, because I mean, you're gonna have a new one, and I know you don't wanna have those issues with it, but is it anything related to that, or you just chalk it up to the manufacturer?
Well, it's a combination of things. One of the issues that we're running is that the engine that's in these current ones are Cummins, and they're notorious for this kind of problem, apparently, we found out. What is coming into the next one, I believe, is a Detroit diesel. So it's more common around the Midwest. Parts should be easier. I'm more accustomed with the Detroit and dealing with that issue than the Cummins by far, so
Okay,
hopefully that will help also.
yeah.
I just had one more.
Sure.
So for clarity, we have 2 out of 3 of our trucks broke down.
Currently, yeah. We're running the Tower, and the 2002 is first out right now.
Okay,
I had a question.
Mr. Rubeck.
I know we're just in work session, but if, you mentioned in here that it would be leased, would we put that lease out for bid? Or
Yes.
is it an automatic going through this company, or?
No, we're actually asking our local lenders right now what their lease
Okay.
terms would be, and then we match that up with what the company's,
Yeah.
leasing company gives
Good,
us.
good, okay.
So we'll see those numbers.
Yeah.
Okay. Going once. Thank you, Chief.
Thank you.
Okay, so you want to pose to moving that forward?
You might want to stay up here.
Hey,
Yeah, you might.
you're gonna get called right back up.
Okay,
here.
so I'm not hearing any opposition, so we'll move that forward to the next meeting, so then we go to number 8.
Okay, as we were looking at our engine issues that we're currently having and having our ladder go out first out of Station 1 right now, we looked at, knowing that we would probably never be able to come up with the financing or the funding for a brand-new ladder truck. I had Chief and his team look at options for a used. They did find one for $225,000. It's the same make as the current ladder truck, and they know the specs of that, and we're very comfortable with it. It will get us into a certified status with some of the certifications that we need. It's in South Carolina, I believe. North Carolina?
Yeah.
So this is one of those situations where we could use potentially, and I'm checking into this answer, we could potentially use those ARPA funds to purchase this or build it into the lease with the engine. So we're gonna look at both those and see what the options would be. But this will get us from a 1984 something aerial to a 2006 at least. So we're in the millennium.
I'm just curious question, the 1984 that we have, how many miles are on that?
Honestly, I can't really give you that answer. I don't know how many miles are on it, or even hours.
Okay,
That's really the least of the concern on that particular vehicle.
I guess
I
I'm
don't
just
think
kind of,
that- I don't
I'm
think
curious
that's
of
it.
how often do we actually use it, on structure fires and,
It's gonna depend on where we respond to. I would like to be able to use it a little more often, but manning and stuff limits that somewhat. But with what we have, there's really nothing else we have that's gonna be able to fight anything really 2 stories or above. And we have plenty of those downtown. Our problem is other issues with it when it comes down to meeting NFPA specs, codes, inspection type things, to where it will pass technically inspections, but it won't pass certificational type.
okay. And then
Standards.
this one you're suggesting, it I think it said it had 30,000 miles on it now.
Yeah.
So I guess I was just trying to see how much better, not just years, but
I'd almost, I don't know whether or not this was a new truck when it came here or not, to be real honest with you.
I believe it was.
Trying to go through records is not,
I
I have
believe it
not
was.
been very successful finding some information, so.
It was a big city event when we brought it in. I remember it was, almost had a parade for it alone.
But where this one, this particular aerial is coming from is technically out of the force of the Greensboro Fire Department in North Carolina. So the mileage on that's probably going to be more when it comes down to, compared to ours, that, you know, we don't run like they run, so.
And Councilman Brubaker, I would point out that we probably use it less because of its deficiencies than what we would if we had a more reliable ladder truck. We might use it on more occasions.
and the one we're looking at buying is 100 foot, is that right?
Yes. It's basically just a 22-year newer version of what we have,
Okay.
which the familiarity of it, the guys will be, it'll be easier to train and understand and operate. Not any different than really what they're used to now. Just be one that meets standards that currently we're not being able to meet.
Okay, thank you.
I'm glad that, you know, you've been able to find something that is in the used market, given the amount of times that this kind of equipment gets used. So do we need to move this forward, making the decision to do that, or contingent upon what way we're gonna pay for it? Because if we don't get a positive outcome on, let's say, ARPA, then I would be interested in how that's gonna impact our budget.
Yeah, because we've figured it's gonna be a difference of, you know, a $90,000 to $100,000 lease payment as opposed to 130-ish a year for about 7 years is what we're kind of estimating. So if we can't use the ARPA funds, it's gonna increase our lease payment from just the engine payment, which is about the 90 to 100,000, all the way up to 130. So we'll have to cover that in next year's budget when that first payment comes due.
What about our obsolete one? What do we do with that? Sell it on Purple Wave?
Oh, yeah.
Or a different website possibly.
Yeah.
That might be able to bring more.
Would it certify as a good deer stand?
If you want, I guess.
I guess if you want to go up
If
in
you
it,
wanna pay the
hope you can
price.
stay up there. Okay.
When we were talking lease payment, we were talking lease to own, right?
Yes.
Yeah, it's not just leasing it.
No. And it's all contingent on whether or not we agree to buy it, so.
Anyone else? All right, anyone opposed to moving that forward? All right, then we'll move that forward. Thank you, Chief. So that brings us to number 8. No, I'm sorry, that's it.
9.
Number 9. Mr. Sanders, I believe, has number 9.
So just to summarize, you know, we have, Mr. Sanford has the 3 hangars out there. There's actually, we call it 2. There's one, there are 2 that are tied together. And then there's one larger individual one. So about 4,000 feet for the one and 3,900 square feet for the other one adjacent to it. And he's had those for numerous years. They've been in the family. They're owned by him, and we have a ground lease currently in place with them where he pays an annual fee for that ground lease. The hangars are in a state of disrepair, and so we had given him amount of time to get those done. I think October 25th of this year is when we actually gave him 60 days notice for the October 25th, but I had met with him back in April of this year to try to get these moved along and renovated. As he does own the hangars, what we've kind of worked out as a possible deal here that what I'm presenting tonight is that he would deed the hangars over to us or release the hangars back to the city of Moberly. So they would then be our hangars. And for the value of the hangars that they are in their present condition, we would do a 5-year lease with him at $0 as an offset for donation of those hangars to the city. So he would be in them, continue his operations for 5 more years. We would go ahead and invest the money to fix those hangars up, and at the end of 5 years, if he wants to lease them or somebody else wants to lease them, they would be at the current market rate at that point in time.
All right? Questions about any of those points? Anyone opposed to moving that forward? Okay, so that will move forward to the next meeting. That concludes the agenda for the work session. Is there anything else to come in front of the council for the work session? All right, hearing none, I would entertain a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
And a second?
Second.
All in favor signify by aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? We're adjourned. Thank you all for coming.